Every once in a while, you are going to be asked what happens to your data set when you add a constant to every term, or perhaps you multiply or you divide. So there are instances in which you're asked to transform your data. The question that follows that always is, what happens to the measures of center and the measures of spread after you transform your data? So we have in my class looked at a couple data sets in which we, maybe converted, for instance, songs on a playlist from minutes to seconds. Well, when you go from minutes to seconds, you're multiplying by 60, and you would multiply every single number in your data set by 60. Sometimes you're converting money from dollars to pennies, or, whatever the scenario is. So let's talk generally whenever you're asked, hey, you're going to transform every single number in your data set by multiplying or dividing or adding or subtracting. How does that affect your mean? So let's first look at the mean. This isn't lined up so well, but let's just talk for a minute. What if I went ahead and added a constant to every single term in my data set? What is that going to do to the mean? Well, the mean is going to change. And guess what? You're going to add the same value to your mean, and that is A. We're just calling it A. Suppose we're adding 10 or 12 or whatever the number is. This is just a variable. Your mean is going to also increase by that. It's also going to decrease. So when I say addition, I want you to also think subtraction. When I say multiplication, I want you to think division also. So what happens to your mean if I go ahead and I multiply every single value by some number? Well, guess what? Your mean is also going to change, and you're going to multiply by that constant term, A. So just remember, measurement of mean is going to also add or subtract. It's also going to multiply or divide. What about, whoops, I'm moving everything around. What happens when we look at the median? So the median, just like the mean, is a measurement of center. So these two guys are literally treated the same. So for sake of time, the median is also going to increase by or decrease by whatever value. It's also going to be multiplied or divided by that value. Now let's switch gears and look at measurements of spread. Measurements of spread is different than measurements of center. So we have three types of spread that we're going to look at right now. The first is your standard deviation of a sample. That's what S stands for. S squared is our variance, and the IQR is the middle 50%. So unlike transforming data and analyzing measures of center, the spread is not affected. It's not affected when you add or subtract. Your spread stays the same. Just because your data set is moving left or right, your variation is not changing. So all of these right here stay the same. Don't do anything to your measurement of spread when you're adding or subtracting. Now, when you're multiplying, if you're multiplying every data set by, the number 10, guess what? Your measures of spread is also going to multiply. So we're going to still multiply here, multiply here, multiply here. Now, this is a very general explanation, and it probably doesn't make a whole lot of sense until you actually apply it to a problem. And there are plenty of examples in this chapter that we're studying in which you're asked what happens to your data set. I hope that helps you guys out, and I also hope that you guys have a great day.